Hey guys, we are going to do a super quick, super fast sculpture demo. I had helpers, they have homework. So y'all are going to be stuck with me. I'm going to thin this down so you guys can see some old sculptures that I've done. I'll turn some light on over here. So I have lots of lizards. I like sculpting lizards. They're a lot of fun. You have a couple options for your actual sculpture. This guy right here has a notch in his back, and the notch allows me to take him and hang him on a wall on a little nail. This guy right here has a sleeve built into his back, and he has a garden stake. So you have a choice between this kind of sculpture or this kind of sculpture. Some other sculptures, similar form, I just added fins, so I have more of a fish than a lizard of some sort. I also have a little frog, and my little frog is a wall, or is a just sit on the table be tchotchke. That right there has a little notch, so he hangs in my kitchen and he's very dusty, which is a little embarrassing. I'll set these on the ground. And this right here is an example of what I'm actually going to build. I might add a butterfly if I have enough room. So I can leave that up there. Now, I have demonstrated wedging inside the classroom. So I pick it up and I drop it on the table. I did wedge this before we got in here because this table is kind of rickety and I didn't want to make a huge amount of noise. So know that I have wedged this before starting. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a base for my flower to be built off of. And we're going to kind of keep these guys a little bit small. Charlie drew that earlier, so I'm going to use that as kind of a little bit of an inspiration. And Charlie also started with a little bit of a slab. And I'm not doing a really fancy slab. I haven't smashed it down or anything like that because I want it to be a little bit organic and a little bit ripply. Now, I do want to cut some petals. With this one that I made before, I cut slits and then just kind of rounded this off. But this is a sunflower and he's kind of spiky. And I'm going to leave him a little bit spiky. And I'm not going to worry about making it so perfect because if you've never actually seen a sunflower, they're kind of delightfully organic. They are very rarely very symmetrical. There are some flowers that are very symmetrical. Like I have orchids blooming in my family room, and my orchids are very symmetrical. But sunflowers, they just kind of do their own thing. They're their own cool, wicked, sweet selves. Some of these petals might end up cracking off later. I'm not going to freak out too bad by that. Now I'm going to build this up in layers. So I'm going to pinch my little petals back in here. I'm not pinching them flat. I'm just kind of actually really kind of just squishing them kind of back into place. So keeping them a little pointy. That one has gotten really thin, and that has me a little bit worried. So I'm going to take a little bit of, I scored it, and now I'm slipping and slipping. I showed that demonstration in class, and then I'm going to really hope that my kids who are virtual and my kids who are absent go back and watch the videos, because the videos I'm demonstrating slipping and scoring and slipping and scoring and slipping and scoring, and it's imperative that one slips and one scores, because your pieces are going to fall apart and it'll be a sad day. Okay, so that's my first layer of petals. Then I have all these great little triangles here. I am going to go ahead and score around here. Score, 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 score. And these get really small, and I have a toothpick, and it appears that my toothpick has disappeared. So I'm going to take a little bit of water, put a little bit of that, and I'm going to wiggle that little funky petal into place. Lots of little funky petals. I do still have this lump of clay over here. Score, score, score. Now, if I were working on one of my little critters, so if I were making this guy, I could add those legs through a slip and score like I'm doing here, or I could leave his body chubby, which is what I did. I had his body kind of come out, and I kind of sliced into his body, and then I kind of pinched these legs out and then smoothed them down. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a little bit of that. So I am going to go ahead and pause the video. That almost looks like a hedgehog. How hilarious is that? Hedgehogs follow me around now, people. I'm going to pause the video, and I will turn you back on in a couple minutes when I have more of this beast finished. Okay, so I have my first round of petals, as you see out here. I have my second round of petals on there. I can go back at this point, and I can use a spoon if I want to smooth these out. Maybe I would like to do, he drew like little indentations on these. I can take my stick. You guys are going to have a stick, but I have a metal chopstick. You are going to get a shish kebab skewer. I could press into the centers of these to give them a little bit definition. That definition is going to be really cool with the glaze. The glaze settles into crevices in fancy ways and gives you some cool color. I have a place here where there's no petal, and so I might take a little portion of this clay. Now, if at this point you have run out of clay, which you might have because the clay that I cut was a little bit small, you have the option of sculpting out the center if you're doing a flower, let's say. So what I might do is I might go in here and I can do this. If you have a little bit of extra clay left over, which is what I want to do on mine, I'm going to take a ball of clay. I'll flatten it out on one side, like so. Really good slipping and scoring. Slip. And I'm going to kind of rock that in there. Now on this one, I curved those petals. I cut out these petals and slipped them and scored them underneath. And then where it came together for this, I did a little tiny pinch pot and slipped and scored that into place. And then I took a little tiny ball and I pressed it against a little bit of texture. I also pressed these against a little bit of texture, like the bottoms of your gym shoes might have a cool texture. If you're in my class, we have some different things you can do. These right here, I put those grooves in here. And I told you the glaze does really cool things sometimes with those grooves. So you can see kind of those grooves there where the glaze has settled down in between and looks pretty cool. This little guy right here, I have a couple of options. I can flip him over and I can take the back of my spoon and I can kind of create a groove back here. That groove got really, really, really deep. But there's my groove there. And then I'm going to kind of settle this down. And I am also going to sign my name back here. It's kind of small, so I'm going to put my initials. And to make organization easier for you guys, go ahead and carve out your period. So if your first period, try to carve out a first. If your fourth period, go ahead and carve out a 4. And so this right here would hang. It could hang up on a wall there. They'll hang up like that. Whoa, that's just not very clear. So that's one way to do that. Now, if I wanted to take this and turn this into a garden stake, like so, haha, I need to do a different kind of back. So coming back down here. What did I knock down there? Trash can. So I can take a little bit of clay here. And what I need to do is I'm going to flatten it out. Like so. I want it to be a little bit bigger than my thumb. So I'm going to use my thumb as a guide. So it's sticking out a stick width from that side and a stick width from this side. So it's kind of roughly the shape of my thumb. It's just bigger than my thumb, like that. And so I'm going to take it and I'm going to roll it around a little bit. Now, these cracks right here indicate that my clay is getting dry. The last thing I want to do is actually take water and put water on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my fingernail, or I'm going to use my thumb, and really quick, I'm just going to skim that surface. And you can do this at any point on any part of any of your pots, on any of this. And while I'm doing this, I'm also kind of curving it over like that. So I'm making kind of a channel. And on the back of my little guy here, we're going to go ahead and make sure that fits. Make sure it's not too big. And if I put him there, I can go ahead and give a little trace around. Crap, he keeps moving. So I know right where my slip and score goes. So score, 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 score. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. There we go. And here's my thumb. So all the scoring around my thumb. We're going to go ahead and put some water on there. We're going to go ahead and water that up. And I'm going to wiggle that on there. And I need to make sure that channel there stays open. On this edge, I can use my spoon. You guys are going to get a fork, so I could use the bottom edge of my fork. I don't know if you might be able to use the side of your stick like so. But the deal is that you just need to smooth that out. Make that look pretty. And the spring thunderstorms are moving in. I love the spring thunderstorms. Smooth that, smooth that, smooth that. Now, if I wanted to, if I had extra clay, which I do, I could actually decorate the back. I could add extra petals around here. I would just need to leave this channel open to be able to get my stick in and out of. In the interest of saving some time here, I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to make sure it's nice and attached well down here. And that right there and he had little circles drawn on there. So I can go ahead and plug in that texture because once again that texture looks really cool. I could be using the end of my pencil if I wanted to. You could use the point of your stick. You could use the end of your stick will have kind of a cool circle. I've used the end of the stick to make eyeballs and all kinds of things on things. But that right there is a sunflower sculpture garden stake. In a nutshell. So there we go.